Obviously, I'm going to talk about that podium, actually. It's momentous events. Obviously, over those 100 years. Over those 100 years, it's the same one, that's right, isn't it, Ronnie? You were there when they made it, weren't you? Obviously. But we've been holding our conferences now, and this is our 101st conference, you know, and I remember some of the great things that's happened from that podium. I remember Sedge, the only guy that's ever had two conferences in one. I mean, he made some amazing speech. He always had a contribution to make towards the union. It was never very long, but it was always very riveting when he got up and spoke. Some of the legendary members we've had as well. I'm sure Ronnie can go over many of the people that's come to our conference and the people that have spoke at our conference, and all the guest speakers that we've had as well. You know, the Jewish trade unions, the Palestine trade unions coming here and talking together about how workers could work together to end the conflict that was happening in the Middle East. I mean, we have had some amazing times as a trade union. And you know, obviously, one of the other things that happens here is that you make the rules and you change the rules of our union, you change the way that our union works. And one of the most significant rule changes that happened was done by Rachel Mullen. A few years ago when we, for the first time ever, decided that we would have a young executive council member. I mean, that was made from down here. You became our first young executive member. And obviously that enabled this union to understand the needs of young workers. It helped us start new campaigns. It helped us build, you know, what we're doing now. And this week, I think what you'll see is a number of young members that are coming through that will be inspirations to our union going forward. So on behalf of the Executive Council as well, and I'm sure I speak for our membership when I say I want to offer our appreciation to all the union staff who work diligently in order to support our reps and members throughout the year. I'd like to extend our appreciation to all the organisations and allies we work alongside, and I'd like to acknowledge the role that MPs have played in supporting your campaigns and your policies. And most importantly, I want to thank each and every one of you for your dedication and hard work, each of you, all of you, for the stuff that you do for us on a daily basis in supporting our members. We're really proud and privileged to have you as our activists, and we're really proud and privileged as an executive to see the work that you do on a daily basis. You reps are the lifeblood of our organisation, which is why I'm going to use this speech to highlight the need to rebuild this union. With a strong rank-and-file based approach that centres on raising standards, tackling inequality and ending the injustice and exploitation that we see far too often in far too many of our workplaces. Our 100th conference was a time to celebrate. Our 101st conference is a time to renew, time to change, time to put the power in the hands of our reps and our activists. Together we need change. Together we need to raise standards in our union, in our workplaces. Together we need to fight these injustices and exploitations that many of our members face day in, day out. We are the Bakers, Food and Allied Workers Union. We've been around since 1847 and have a proud history of influencing positive change in our industry and often punching above our weight. We are proud, fiercely independent, proud of our heritage, proud of our achievements, proud of a union that won't back down from any bully, no matter what size. When I look back in our recent achievements, I do so with pride. When I read the Labour Party manifesto and see how many of our union's policies that were moved at that rostrum that was in their manifesto, it makes me bristle with pride. I say to myself, this came from that podium. 1847 this union started. We've seen our ups and our downs, and we have survived. Independent in thought and deed, representing food workers and their family. However, our history and legacy is in real danger of becoming a shadow memory of good old boys, up for a drink and a bit of a revolution. As proud as I am of our union, I have a stark warning. We are in danger. Our history of achievements, our courage, our traditions, of members' participation, ownership and democracy are in danger. In the last year, we have lost more than 1,000 members across the UK and Ireland for many, many different reasons. The situation has unfortunately, as our General Secretary alluded to, meant that we have parted with our comrades from Region 6. And I'm sure all of us are going to miss their contribution, their friendship and their solidarity. Our fellow unions, the Labour Party and our community allies regard this union in high esteem. They see us as a radical, forward-thinking, progressive organisation. They see us as a leader, pulling other more cumbersome unions along in the right direction. They are right. We are lead on many issues. Yet inside our union, we are increasingly backward-looking, outdated, and repeat the same mistakes over and over again. We use methods that were right at the time, but are not right for today. If we love this union, if we understand this union, it is the expression of our collective power and our collective voice that we need to change. We need to up our game. We need to do whatever it takes. Our fear for our children with no unions, they face poverty, ill health, environmental disaster and extreme exploitation at work. Without unions leading other unions and the Labour Party, our people will suffer from immeasurable harm. I know you love this union. I know you understand that this is your union. It's your voice, it's your power, and it's the power to change the world when we act collectively. So I have hope that our 101st conference will be one of those rejuvenations for change. Our Executive Council recognise the challenges we face and intend to take bold action that will protect our union, not just to reverse decline, but to grow big, building a strong, united, fearless organisation ready to take on the next 100 years. So in 100 years' time, at our 201st conference, a biscuit baker from Blackpool, a pastry baker from Leeds or a kitchen worker from Wetherspoons can stand at that podium too and make their contributions to a winning strategy for the 22nd century. So you have a decision to make. Do we reform or do we die? Fellow workers are coming into our industry on insecure and exploitative types of employment, undermining our agreements, our terms and conditions and our long-term job security. We need to recruit these workers to our cause, to stand with them and to improve their conditions because, as any trade unionist knows, when we raise the bottom, everybody benefits. And this includes workers no matter where they are from in the world. Their struggle is our struggle. We have a common cause in raising our standards together. We have allowed too many of our members to become reliant on the living wage. Our workplace should never have a member just getting by on it. We should not be settling for it. Nothing is too good for our members. Our members deserve better than the so-called living wage. Our members deserve more. But we won't get it passively. We need to organise, come together and build power and use it. Like our members did at Wetherspoons, McDonald's and their Ivy House, and like the people at Burton's were about to do when they got told they were going to have agency workers brought in. And they stood up and they said, we're not bringing agency workers in here because if you do, we'll go on strike. And just like those Hovis workers showed when they absolutely stood up against the use of zero-hour contracts. Our union always at the forefront of fighting. You always at the forefront of fighting. People say it's hard to get a pay rise, that we are lucky to be in a job. I know. Standing up, joining together and taking action is not easy. But it's easier than going to your purse and not being able to afford what you need. It's easier than not being able to support your kids through university. It's easier when your children haven't got anything than saying I can't stand up and get what I deserve. Yes, it is hard, but the history of this union shows it can be done. Every piece of legislation that we have had to protect our rights at work wasn't given to us. We had to fight for it, one step at a time, one conversation, one meeting, one strike, one picket, one victory at a time. the struggles of this union, the history of this union, shows us the time for sitting around and talking is over. Now is the time for action. Now is to do whatever it takes to build this union. We need this conference to renew the beginning and build the momentum from our branches and energise our representatives, organise and mobilise our members and bring about the change we so desperately need. We must be prepared to review our structures so our members can be represented effectively, and we must ensure that the training our representatives receive is relevant, up to the minute and 100% on point in terms of what the UK food industry needs. Our organisation needs to re-evaluate the way it uses its resources, the way it engages with its members, whether or not our offices need modernisation. If anything is outdated or archaic, it needs to go. Change can be daunting, but it remains the key part of our survival. Doing things a certain way because it's the way we've always done them has led to membership in decline and withering terms and conditions for our members. We must address this. We must suggest a change. This conference shouldn't be about division. This conference should be about pulling together to implement the changes we decide on. Only when doing that, and only when we pull together, use our strength in numbers, use our collective power, only then can we change and improve our lives and improve the lives of our families. You are the union. Not me, not the officials, not the clerical staff, not the organisers, you. You will be the driving force, and I can assure you of this. You will be given the training you need. You will be given the support you need to recruit and organise your workplace. You will have a union able to represent your interests and challenge you, empower you as you deserve. We're taking this organisation off life support. After this conference, we will be seeking to reposition ourselves with a strong, well-resourced, resilient rank and file that will be the new thumping heartbeat of our organisation. A union that our forefathers would be proud of. A union that will protect our children. A union that can represent food workers and our families for the next 100 to 300 years. It's time to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. The strong are only strong because we are on our knees. Let's get up, let's get on with it. Solidarity, enjoy your conference.